Okay, real talk. If you won the lottery right now, like right now, what is the first thing you would buy? A Lamborghini? A house with 17 bathrooms? Hey, no judgment. We have all been there at 3 in the morning doing mental shopping sprees with money we do not have. So today, we are doing something different. Forget the horror stories. Forget the "I won 10 million and now I live in my cousin's garage" headlines. Today, we are celebrating 9 black lottery winners who looked at their giant checks and said, "You know what? I am not going to mess this up." These are the clever ones, the ones who hired lawyers before they hired party planners, the ones who built businesses, funded colleges, and literally rebuilt entire neighborhoods, while some of them still showed up to work the next day. Hit subscribe right now because, trust me, by the end of this video, you are going to want to rethink your entire financial plan. Let us go. Number 1. The Smith family. Pearlie Mae Smith. All right, let me introduce you to the Smith family. And when I say family, I mean family. Capital F, the whole squad. We are talking about Pearlie Mae Smith, a pastor from Trenton, New Jersey, and her 7 adult children. 8 people, 1 lottery ticket, and a whole lot of faith. In 2016, this family bought a single Powerball ticket and won $429.6 million. Let me say that again for the people in the back. $429.6 million. That is almost $500 million. For one family, on 1 ticket. Now, you might expect the usual story here. Family fights, lawsuits, estranged cousins coming out of the woodwork. But the Smiths were different. Pearlie Mae described the win as a divine affirmation, and her daughter, Valerie Arthur, who had worked as a prison administrator, stepped up as the family spokesperson. And here is what blew my mind. Before they even went public with the win, they had already hired lawyers and financial consultants. Before they claimed the prize. That is next-level thinking. But the really clever part? They did not just write a bunch of random checks to random charities. They created the Smith Family Foundation, a formal, professionally governed grant-making organization specifically designed to fight the systems that keep people in poverty in Trenton, their hometown. They financed the construction of a brand new church for the Mount Sinai Holy Church of America. They paid off every single educational debt in the family. They invested in neighborhood development programs and parental advocacy initiatives. And the foundation is still running today, with professional governance making sure every dollar creates maximum impact. This is not charity. This is strategy. The Smiths turned lottery winnings into generational infrastructure, and that is a masterclass in how to handle sudden wealth. Number 2. Solomon Jackson Jr. Solomon Jackson Jr. was a retired state employee from South Carolina. He was also a pastor, because apparently being a person of faith and winning the lottery is a recurring theme in this video, and I am here for it. In August of 2009, Solomon won $259.9 million playing Powerball, nearly $260 million, for a retired government worker. Let that sink in. Now, a lot of winners at this point would be browsing luxury yacht catalogs or pricing out mansions in Miami. But Solomon had something else on his mind. Education. Specifically, Morris College, a historically black college and university known as an HBCU, located in Sumter, South Carolina. That is where Solomon had studied religion years before. And what did he do? He wrote a check for $10 million. $10 million. To a single HBCU. That was not a pledge over 10 years. That was not a "we will see how it goes" kind of donation. That was a one-time, lump sum payment, and he did it that way on purpose, so the college could avoid paying interest on loans and start building immediately. That money went to constructing new dormitories and administrative buildings. It funded scholarships for athletes and freshmen from low-income families. And, this is the part that gets me, he named the campus maintenance center after his father, Solomon Jackson Sr., who had worked as a janitor his entire life to provide for his family. Think about the poetry of that. A man whose father was a janitor used lottery money to build a building at a college and named it after that janitor. And he did not name a flashy auditorium after himself. He honored his father, the man who mopped floors so his son could dream bigger. If that does not move you, I do not know what will. Number 3. Miguel Pilgrim. Miguel Pilgrim is a Navy veteran and a former cruise industry professional. In 2010, he won $52 million playing the Florida Lotto. And Miguel could have done what a lot of people do with that kind of money in South Florida. Buy a waterfront condo, park a boat at the marina, and sip cocktails until the end of time. But Miguel had a very different vision. He looked at Sistrunk Boulevard in Fort Lauderdale. Now, if you do not know about Sistrunk Boulevard, let me paint you a picture. This was the historic heart of the oldest black community in Fort Lauderdale. It was once a thriving commercial district full of black-owned businesses, culture, music, and life. But after decades of systematic disinvestment, the neighborhood had deteriorated. Empty storefronts, limited services, and a community that felt forgotten. Miguel saw an opportunity that most developers would have turned into just another gentrification project. Tear everything down, build luxury condos, and push the existing residents out. But Miguel was not most developers. Through his company, the Pilgrim Group, he started buying up buildings along the boulevard. Not to flip them, not to displace people, but to restore the area to its former glory while keeping the community intact. His projects included a performing arts center with affordable rental rates so local instructors could actually teach there, jazz and blues clubs to bring the cultural nightlife back, retail spaces designed to attract banking services and healthy food options, the kinds of basic services that had been missing from the neighborhood for years. Miguel called it a moral obligation to invest where other developers only saw quick profit. And that is what makes his story so powerful. He proved that lottery money can be a tool for economic sovereignty, for a community taking back control of its own destiny. That is not just smart money management. That is a revolution in slow motion. Number 4. Robert Bailey. Robert Bailey. This man. This absolute legend. Let me tell you about the most patient lottery player in the history of lottery players. Robert was a retired federal government worker, 67 years old, living in Harlem, New York, and for 25 consecutive years, I need you to really hear that, 25 years, he played the exact same set of numbers. Every single drawing, same numbers, rain or shine, summer or winter, for a quarter of a century. You know how many times you hear people say, "I have been playing the lottery for years and never won"? Robert heard that voice too, for 25 years, and he kept going anyway. Then, in October of 2018, on a rainy afternoon in Harlem, Robert walked into a small delicatessen, just like he always did. Bought his ticket with his usual numbers, and won his share of a $687.8 million Powerball jackpot. That was the largest jackpot in the history of the New York State Lottery at that time. But here is what really shows Robert's cleverness. He did not rush to claim the prize. He waited weeks. During that time, he quietly hired an attorney and a financial consultant. He put together a plan before he put himself in the spotlight. When he finally did come forward, he was calm, collected, and completely prepared. And what did he say when asked if he would stop playing the lottery? He said he would keep playing his numbers until the train stops. I mean, you cannot make this stuff up. The man won hundreds of millions of dollars and basically said, "I am not done yet." His investments focused on protecting his family, purchasing land, and creating investment plans designed to grow wealth across generations, all while maintaining his roots right there in Harlem. No Beverly Hills mansion, no private island, just a man from Harlem, staying in Harlem, building for his people. Number 5. Yansy Hicks. Here is a story that does not involve hundreds of millions of dollars, but in some ways, It might be the smartest move on this entire list. Yansy Hicks was a worker at McDonald's. He had been there for years, showing up, putting in shifts, grinding it out the way millions of working people do every single day. Then, in 2008, he won $1 million in the Illinois State Lottery. Now, $1 million is a lot of money, but let us be real. In this day and age, it is not quit everything and retire money, especially after taxes. A lot of people would blow through $1 million in a couple of years and end up right back where they started. But Yansy? Yansy thought differently. He looked at his $1 million and said, "I know the food industry. I know how restaurants work. I have been working in one for years." And then he went out and bought himself a Subway franchise. That is right. He went from working the counter at McDonald's to owning a Subway. He went from employee to entrepreneur with one smart decision. Instead of spending his $1 million on stuff that loses value, cars, clothes, parties, he put it into a proven business model that would generate income for years to come. Yansy Hicks understood something that a lot of lottery winners miss. The goal is not to spend the money. The goal is to make the money work. And a franchise that pays you every single month is a whole lot better than a sports car that loses value the second you drive it off the lot. Number 6. Cynthia Stafford. Okay, picture this. It is 2004. You are a single woman living in Los Angeles. You have just lost your brother in a terrible car accident, and now, overnight, you are raising his 5 children by yourself. No co-parent, no safety net, just you and 5 kids who need everything. That was Cynthia Stafford's reality, and most people in that situation would be focused on just surviving, just making it through the next month. But Cynthia? Cynthia had a very different plan. She started practicing something called creative visualization. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. Oh, here we go, another manifestation story. But hold on, because this one actually has receipts. Cynthia did not just vaguely wish for money. She picked a very specific number, $112 million. She wrote that number down. She put it under her pillow every single night. She meditated on it. She saw it. She felt it. She lived it in her mind before it ever became real. And then, in May of 2007, Cynthia Stafford walked into a store, bought a Mega Millions ticket in California, and won, are you ready for this? Exactly $112 million. The exact number. I do not know about you, but that gives me chills every single time. But here is where Cynthia really separates herself from the pack. She did not go on a spending spree. Well, okay, she did buy a Bentley, and honestly, who can blame her? But her first real move was strategic. She got mentored by David Geffen. Yes, that David Geffen, the billionaire entertainment mogul, and she founded a company called Queen Nefertari Productions, a limited liability company focused on producing independent films and television series. Think about that for a second. She went from being a struggling single mom to a Hollywood producer, financing stories that she believed needed to be told. She became one of the biggest black philanthropists in Los Angeles, donating to the Geffen Playhouse and organizations that support foster care, a cause that was deeply personal to her, given her own experience raising her brother's children. Cynthia did not just win the lottery. She used the lottery to build an empire and give back to people who were in the same situation she once found herself in. That is not just clever. That is legendary. Number 7. Garina Finn. Garina Finn was a correctional officer. Yes, a prison guard, originally from Jamaica, living and working in the United States. She had been through some really tough times financially, including going through bankruptcy at one point. So, when she walked into a store in 2010 to buy a lottery ticket, she knew exactly what she wanted: a Powerball ticket. But here is where the story gets absolutely wild. She made a mistake. She accidentally bought the wrong ticket. Instead of Powerball, she ended up with a Mega Millions ticket. Can you imagine? You're standing there, you pull out your money, and the cashier hands you the wrong game. Most people would be annoyed. Some people might even ask for a refund. Garina kept the ticket, and that mistake turned out to be worth $54 million. $54 million on a ticket she did not even mean to buy. I mean, if that is not the universe having a sense of humor, I do not know what is. After the win, Garina stabilized her life in the United States, bought herself a nice BMW 5 Series, got her finances in order. But she also did something that shows the heart of an immigrant who never forgets where she came from. She started exploring investment opportunities back in Jamaica, looking into infrastructure projects that could help develop the island she grew up on. That is something a lot of people do not think about when it comes to immigrant lottery winners. The money does not just change one person's life in one country. It creates a bridge between two worlds, and Garina used her windfall to strengthen that bridge. From bankruptcy to multimillionaire, from a mistake at the register to a transnational investor. Garina Finn's story is proof that sometimes the best things in life come from the plans that go wrong. Number 8. Patrick Clark. Patrick Clark was an airport worker from Brooklyn, New York. Just a regular guy, going to work, doing his job, living his life. Then, in 2014, something pretty cool happened. His mother gave him some money as a birthday gift. Just a little cash, nothing crazy. And Patrick decided to use part of it to buy a scratch-off lottery ticket called Set for Life. And that birthday present turned into $5 million. Happy birthday indeed, right? His mom basically gave him the gift that keeps on giving for the rest of his life. But what makes Patrick Clark a clever winner is not what he did with the money. It is what he did not do. When reporters asked him about his plans, he said something that shocked a lot of people. He was going to keep his job at the airport. Let me say that again. Yet the man won $5 million and said, "Yeah, I am still going to work tomorrow." And before you think he is crazy, think about it. Patrick understood something that psychologists and financial advisors talk about all the time: the importance of routine and structure. A lot of lottery winners lose everything not because they spend too much, but because they lose their sense of purpose. They quit their jobs, their friends change, their schedule disappears, and suddenly they are lost. Patrick was not about to let that happen. He used the money to eliminate financial stress for his family, paid off debts, made sure everyone was taken care of, but he kept his feet on the ground by maintaining the same modest lifestyle and the same work ethic that defined him before the win. 5 million richer, same guy. That is not boring. That is brilliant. Number 9. Frederick McClendon. Frederick McClendon was a retired bus driver from Brooklyn, New York. He spent his career behind the wheel, navigating the chaos of New York City traffic every single day for decades. If you have ever been to New York, you know that driving a bus there is basically an extreme sport. So when Frederick finally retired, the man deserved some peace and quiet. In 2015, he won $7 million playing Cash for Life, a game that pays you for life, which is exactly what a retired person dreams about. Now, Frederick did not start a foundation. He did not buy a chain of restaurants. He did not invest in real estate developments. And you know what? That is perfectly fine. It's because Frederick McClendon represents something equally important: the idea that lottery winnings can simply give a working-class person the comfortable retirement they have earned but could never afford. New York City is one of the most expensive places on earth, and for a retired bus driver living in Brooklyn, the idea of a truly comfortable, stress-free retirement was probably something that always felt out of reach. $7 million changed that equation entirely. Frederick used his winnings to guarantee himself financial security in one of the toughest cities in the world. No drama, no headlines, no scandals. Just a man who worked hard his whole life, got lucky at the right time, and used that luck to enjoy his golden years in peace. And, honestly, after a career of driving through New York traffic, as that man has earned every single penny of peace and quiet. So, there you have it. 9 clever black lottery winners who broke every stereotype about what happens when you hit the jackpot. From Cynthia Stafford, manifesting $112 million and becoming a Hollywood producer, to the Smith family building a philanthropic foundation that fights poverty, to Solomon Jackson Jr. funding an entire college, to Miguel Pilgrim literally rebuilding a neighborhood from the ground up. Every single one of these people proved the same thing. Winning the lottery is not about luck. Well, okay, it is about luck. But what you do after you win, that is about character. That is about vision. That is about being clever enough to know that the real jackpot is not the check. It is the legacy you build with it. If these stories inspired you, do me a favor. Hit that subscribe button. Leave a comment telling me which winner was your favorite. And share this video with someone who needs to hear that good things happen to good people.